Okay. Um, First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. I think this is how I need to start. Uh, Thanking God, you know, because of the life I could have lived. The reason why I keep saying that is because I keep hearing, I keep understanding how easy it is to do what they do. It's truly a weak, easy, disgusting thing that can be easily done. And the incentives can be so amazing. Um, and I'm talking about how I could have lived my life like these people partaking in this program, this purpose. I'm not a fool in the sense of I understand why would somebody find incentives in partaking in this target individual. Men, human beings can do very evil things, but if you can make those evil things very easy to do, oh my gosh, you can only imagine how easy, how many people will be involved. And this is what's happening to us target individual. That's why um, some of the more grotesque things that you can imagine happening to us, and so many people involved in it. Why? It's because the things they can do to us is done to us with technology that are just so advanced, so so disgusting, so ahead of everything. They're using technology, unfortunately, that we are test subject to. As I'm saying that, even speaking is a struggle because this technology is being applied on me. And the technology I'm talking about this technology the DoD has been working on for decades and decades, before I was alive, way before I was alive, way before. And today, only of course with time, got only just more refined, and the strategy has become more refined, and the tactics have become more refined. So it's just I just need to deal with that and understand that. When I hear this perps, I I, I know that the sophistication of the technology and the contrast of how childlike these people can be is just also magical. But it also shows how sophisticated this technology is, that they don't need to even utilize genius. Like, matter of fact, I think a lot of these perps need to minimize themselves in order for me to be for the efficiency of this technology. Listen, I can understand why, from the genius of the genius to the dumbest of the dumbest, will want to be involved in this. If you're into the scientific field, if you're into medical field, the opportunity to involve yourself in technology that can do so much to the body, to your physiologically, your body, and to your mind, and utilizing technology with resources, with this level of like backing up and structure, is just a dream come true for some of these people. If you're in the science field, if you're in the medical field, you get to play with the most advanced technology you can ever imagine. But this technology is utilized onto us as weapons. This technology is supposed to alter human beings in very negative way. This is not a study to make things better. They are here to see how you can destructively destroy a person. Now, if in the midst of that you learn some more things that are not that's but the goal of this program onto us is for sure meant to destroy us. It's a weapon. It's a weapon that is being utilized onto us. Like this man said, and I'll get to it maybe later. The technology can do these things to us. They can target our bodies. Oh my gosh, you're gonna hear testimonies of men and women, and I'm gonna make sure I bring that up. That bring up what's happened to them. For me, example, my organs are being hit. I know I'm being degraded. My organs are being destroyed, but I'm not seeing any cuts. There's nothing. It's like it hits the organs directly, I can have internal bleeding because they what they do to me. They can cut my internal organs without cutting my skin. My knees, my legs, my bones, fragilized. So fragile. I know if I fall down once, I could literally break every bone. My heartbeat, my liver, my pancreas, slowly degrading away, slowly. That's because they're utilizing these technologies that these DoD entities have been working on for years. We're just test subject to it. They're just doing this, observing, and continuously, increase or decrease the level of intensities. I understand the reality that this is a program that is supposed to develop these weapons. They are weapons unto us. Now, the other technology that becomes even more science fictional is the psychological and the technology that can literally overtake your brain, that can overrun your neural network with manipulations. That's when you deal with perps. For me, at least, I can just only describe my target in that sense, man. I think a lot of it is very systematic. They have the same tactics. For me, and I've kind of figured what they do. When they are rewiring your brain, when they are reconstructing your ways of thinking, rewiring your thought process, they then utilize perps, right? This program uses all kinds of civilians. And I think they need the labor. They need individuals to partake because there needs to be some hands-on work. Not hands-on in the regard of like doing something to me, but in regard of applying this technology onto people. They utilize these perps. They come in all shape and form, right? They can be very sophisticated individual. When I mean sophisticated, I mean people who've, let's just say, in the medical field. They could be, neighbors. They could actually be kids. There's some young, anybody can partake. And then the gaslighting starts. They make you experience these thoughts. For me, they've been constructing these ways of thinking. They are very pedophilia-centric. They can manipulate my brain to have these reactions, which is apparently it's been so easy to do. In the sense of this technology, this is not even the most sophisticated part of this technology. Like making somebody have an emotion or a reaction, it's like, that's what they used to do like really early on. It becomes to another level when it would talk about the manipulation of thought process. The thought process manipulating. The sophistication of that becomes a little bit more refined. This we'll talk about more. That's the kind of sophistication I deal with. Thought process, perceptions, manipulations are happening all the time. Memories rewired, manipulated. That is when it becomes like the more refined type of manipulation. The reaction, the sensation, apparently, as disgusting as it is, because it is very destructive. Can you imagine you see a child and then you're forced to get like a sexual stimulation or emotional stimulation that's sexual, something of that nature? It's disgusting. Right? So they do that to me. And on top of that, they do the more sophisticated aspect of this technology where they can restructure my thought process and try to make me accepting of this. Immediately they're like, oh, you're gonna die, you're gonna this. And they try to really paint this persona into you and make you identify with this persona, which in this persona today, they are forcing you, because of this technology, can manipulate you to have this emotion, to have this sexual stimulation to children of all ages. And they start building a persona which they want you to identify to. It's so nasty. And then you have this trash, this contracted trash. They're obviously all working for these governmental entities. Nothing here is just done just for that. There is a entity, these entities, the governmental entities running this program. Right? This low life here try to make it look, for at least now that it's so disgusting when they try to to present themselves as a government, as a group of femme fatale. You have here, we're avenging, we're protecting women. It's so foul. It's like, no, we're different. We have our own money. It's like, yo, clown, trash, low life. They have no shame. They truly have no shame. You're going to clearly hear this is obviously governmental. You think there's some fan fatale, Avenger group of woke or whatever bullshit they can. The psyops are there in whatever version. They can tomorrow switch up the whole psyops. And it's like, oh, let me just not think that this governmental programs that have been in place for years, where they utilize this technology, which they're developing for decades and decades, to continuously refine the ability of this technology, of these weapons. But it's some group of like, it's so calm, some fierce fam. They have no shame. The program itself is so destructive to men, women, and children. You hear testimonies of people who goes through the exact same things as you, but different culture, different gender, different age, different. So there's a bunch of testimonials of women saying the horrible things they go through. That's why I started making videos, because I've heard testimonials of so many others. I'm like, that helped me put things in perspective. If I'm able to see things for what they are today, and I'm not seeing this low, this losery of these retards, these perps. That's why I call them, because they have to dumb themselves down. When I hear them go with these things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I obviously know what this is about. And for me, this is what they do. Because I'm not acceptive and I understand what this is really about, this manipulation, this thought process, these personas, all of that, you're gonna listen to it. And their job is gonna try to counter that. They deflect and tell me the things they're gonna do to me. The things that they say for the deflecting purposes, and also to make me think about that, which is horrible. Because the humiliation that what I'm gonna say right now, what I'm saying, is gonna be said by others in ways that you think that I made these people say that. It's so surreal that at this point I feel like when I hear people describing what's happening to us, who has no connection to me, but he, she, all are able to describe the destructive and the life of what's happening, and it sounds just like my life. It's so surreal. It's like they have a whole system already so like well oiled. That's same stories, same tactics, same thing. Oh, you new person, bring it in, and same thing. So what I'm saying right now, if somebody's watching, it could be the exact same torments, and that the target individual is dealing, maybe in a different country. It's disgusting. And I understand that at some point I'm not going to be able to make it. They keep telling me how they can make me lose my mind. I can definitely see that. I feel my brain so fragilized. I feel like I can have a seizure or I can pass out. And they have really rewired my brain. Even speaking is getting so tough. So I can imagine at some point they can do something and I completely lose touch of reality. I lose my mind completely. For sure. And that's probably the easy part they could have done at any moment. It's not about just that. They are about to control the human being. It's about manipulation. They could have done that a long time ago. They can just make you lose your mind. They want to manipulate your brain, but also they want you to identify with the manipulations. Listen, they control me all the time. And for example, they can make me, oh, look at the clock. I look at the clock, it's 4 o'clock, or it's whatever time it is. 4:44, and they try to be like, and I'll bring up this again. 4:44. I was like, oh, I see pay now. It's like this, or they, when they say pay now, is like what they say via V2K. So I deal with the voice to score, right? I'm sorry if I'm everywhere. I just realized that when I say certain things, it's hard to capture. I am also dealing with voice to score. So when somebody say pay now, it's not somebody who's around me. They're utilizing this technology. They can pipe in voices into your brain. They call it voice to score. So they can control me to look at my watch or look at my phone. I look at my phone, and the time on my phone is 4 o'clock, 4:44. It's 4:44. Sorry, right? Immediately I hear somebody interacting with me via this technology that can pipe in voices in your brain and say, pay now, right? They try to create a mystique about it. Now, I know technology that can pipe in voices, apparently that is also some old technology. Technology that can pipe in voices remotely is apparently some of the oldest technology we're talking about here. Matter of fact, people can do that without using the same level of sophistication, but able to make you hear sounds of some sort without using your ears. Now, it's been showing, they've been showing how they can do that minus all this super like advanced technology. So you can only imagine how these people can utilize this DoD technology to another level. And so for me, it's been that, right? They interact with me via voice to skull. When they interact with me via voice to skull, it's like they utilize they create this different tonality of their voices. They try to make it mysticful. They want you to see them in this fashion. They can be nobodies out there. They could be people right now who are on antidepressants, right? Are going through whatever they're going through personally, right? Maybe their personal life, they have so much going on, they have other issues. But when they are involved in targeting you using V2K, you would think that you're talking about some of the fiercest human being on this earth. Then you see who it is and you're like, oh my goodness. If you're the one who was interacting with me via this technology, via V2K, and I'm looking at you, you could kill yourself in 2 seconds if something goes off with you. So I understand the mystique of V2K is there because this is technology that literally pipes voices into your head. So they manipulate you, and they want to see if you're going to be acceptive of this manipulation. For me, it's not going to happen. So, and they know that. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to experience this thought process. It doesn't mean that whatever they want me to experience, whatever control is going to happen. I know that there's nothing you can do. I understand this is why my brain is thinking this way, because you have rearranged my thought process to think this way. This is what this technology can do. Now they have this purpose, who have to stay in character. They have to stay in character. Because their job is to make you acceptive of these manipulations. You hear the noise campaign. Your whole ecosystem is surrounding you to create this thing. This is why we're talking about the Department of Defense program. This is the kind of funding and level of resources they have. Now, let me just say this. As I was saying this, because I'm putting things in perspective. These people are foul low life. Foul. Like I said, evilness can be done by every man, but especially when they facilitate this. When they facilitate evilness, you'll see everybody easily involving themselves in it. The things they tell me is these people are foul people. You're gonna hear who else is being tortured. You've heard children, women. They have no shame. They can torture an infant, a 3-week-old infant, using technology that is so disturbing. The same people doing that to me. I know they do that, right? So you can only imagine what they can do to you. These people tell me I'm going to be framed. They tell me, and this is so disgusting because there's a pattern here that needs to be followed up in different ways. They tell me how they're going to frame me by having a child here say that I did something to them, right? And it's funny, they hype these kids up. They're normalizing evilness and foulness to another level, that they even groom these people into the nastiness. They're saying that they're going to frame me by either implanting child porn, right? Which I brought out the fact that these entities that are running this program have had issue with that. And the issue of pedophilia as a whole has been an issue, not only in the DoD, but the intelligence community have had ongoing issue with pedophilia. People had to raise up these issues multiple times. But these tactics, this technology, when it comes to degrading your brain and manipulate you and destroying who you are as a being, they utilize pedophilia type of personas. It's so foul. But that world seems to be like very connected in one way or another. but this is more speculation. The facts are there's a lot of pedophilia issue going on in the DoD. There's also a lot of pedophilia issue going on with the indigenous community, and the technology, these tactics, they utilize pedophilia type of torture. Now, if there's a connection there, maybe it's something to dive deeper in. All right. Now, these perps here, they utilize children, which are like they're grooming these people to be this foul. These trash are saying that they're gonna have their kids say that I raped them. That's how they're gonna frame me. Right? These people, I'm telling you, if they're gonna, it's like they sign up to see, hey, is karma real? Hey, when you die, do you go to hell? Hey, like it's like they're calling out for everything negative in their life to come to them everywhere, in every ways. But it's very easy to do what they do, very easy, because they're doing it for governmental entities. Right? The court system is run by these governmental entities. All the establishments are run by these government entities. So whatever they do is as long as it's done for these governmental entities, it's gonna be okay. So they're saying how they're gonna frame me using their own children. I'm like, sell your trash. For me, I'm like, you know, bad things are already happening to me. So do sell your kids. One thing I've noticed is because of the incentive they get out of it, it's like they've become so retarded. It's like you think that is good for your child's health, right? Like imagine as a kid, you are being told and guided by people who are you supposed to be trusting of, respecting of, saying, oh no, just say that this man raped you. We're gonna, say, let's just say like your 15-year-old, maybe even a 17-year-old, even an adult is wrong. But then just imagine like a kid. How do you think these kids are gonna grow up? They're gonna be all fucked up. But it's okay. I'm like, do your thing. I have no empathy for people like you. You're capable of doing that to your kids. You watch how the kids are gonna grow. Look at even the people who are involved in this. You look how stable they are. Some of them are. You're gonna get yours. And you're working for these governmental entities who empowers you to do these things. And they have a lot of pedophilia issue. And you work in this. This is how you use your children. Okay. It's not a coincidence. There's a lot of pedophiles in these agencies. And your child is out here doing this, and then the brain is being manipulated this ways. In my brain, they try to counter this, but I'm gonna bring reality real quick. So they tell me how they're gonna frame me in these disgusting ways. I'm like, dude, sell your kids. I'm petty in that sense that even though I know it's gonna be horrible for me, just the knowledge that I know it's gonna be bad for this person, these kids, and the parents gonna see that, and they're gonna see me as this prophet who said just the obvious thing. I'm like, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's gonna be horrible for me, but I'm gonna be the prophet for you. I'm almost that petty, and maybe that's a problem, to the point where I'm looking forward to see the reveal, like they like to say, the reveal of the frame, because I know these kids are not gonna be good, and they keep focusing on me. It's gonna be horrible. Their life is already horrible right now. It's already bad. It's going to be worse, okay. But understand. I look forward to seeing you. Because you're going to see a prophet at this point. So they talk about how they're going to see me. They see how you get experience. Like, listen, if your trash ass can do that, anybody, if these retards here, these childlike people can participate, you think somebody who can do crime already, like in a non-facilitated fashion, would participate? What? Even easier. They think that what's gonna happen to me is because they proved it so much. I was like, listen, as damn down you can be, everybody else can do the same thing. If somebody who's already like in the everyday life can be crooked without working for the government entities, these governmental entities can do horrible things to people without the facilitation that you have, can harm somebody without doing that remotely, but can look at somebody and stab somebody. What do you think they can do if they have the facilitation that you have? No, it's like, what? Man, I can... Come on, I can... So I know I know. So it's easy. You should see how cowardly these people talk. It look like. If I show a picture of these people, coward is some childlike people. I'm like, they have truly facilitated these horrible things that anybody can participate. To the point where I ask God, give me strength to not lose it, because you heard my shootings. You heard. If imagine this trash do this in front of you, and they still want you to think that it's not the government running this program, the same government torturing babies. That I should think this is some feminist group of together. It's so pathetic to the point that in every level, the people who put me in this program, the extreme conservative individuals you can imagine, they had a connection into this world. They want to get rid of me. They thought, okay, they put me in this program, it's over. This government, this company is extremely conservative. Extremely, not just like I can be like a little bit conservative, like Republican. No, we talk about as conservative gets in this country, right? They're big donors, big time. And so now I don't know if it's supposed to kind of distract me from who put me in this program. They present this different psyop, which is a psyop. Tomorrow the purpose can be all conservative. Once you put in this program, it doesn't matter what race you are, it doesn't matter what party you are, it doesn't matter what religion you are, all of that is over. You are a test subject, you're a guinea pig, you're a human subject that we're going to utilize in this fashion. We're going to maximize you as a test subject. We're going to see what this technology, how capable it can do this thing and that. That's it. We don't care what. Matter of fact, we want a little bit diversion, the diversity in regard of that. They need people from different cultures, but different cultures, different races, different views of life. We don't care. But there's a psyop. They present themselves as anything but this massive government that does that to every to Americans, in people from all around the world. But let me just finish up here, and not finishing, but put things back in perspective. Listen, the tactics are so systematic. It's so crazy. One thing they like to do is like this tactics of like defamations. When you become a target individual, things around you changes. Sometimes it gets like you start noticing people acting differently. People becoming rude, becoming disrespectful, and it's just like, we were okay before. Why are you acting this way? One thing I remember the day something very bizarre happened. I used to be, well, this is not somebody I was close to at the time, but when I was in college, I remember me and her had like a fling. She was actually the sister of who my sister was dating at the time, right? And we had a little fling. She's from another country. She comes back a few years later, a year or two later. At this point, I'm working for this employee who put me in this program. But she comes back and she's acting weird. She's like kind of rude. She's acting this weird fashion. And I'm like, what's going on here? And at that point, I was already working in this company, and I was like, things was happening already. Even my family member would start acting, but not as obvious as her. Her is because perhaps I won't see her for years, and then see her when she come visit her brother, who was at the time dating my sister, right? And I was like, why is she acting like she's so? But at the end, I was like, whatever. It's not an important person in my life, right? But looking back now, I'm like, okay, that I was already being put in this program, right? And so things were changing already. Even my own family were changing already. Like slowly, they were acting differently. Something was off, and then my mother was acting more, like it just, and so I was already put in this program. One thing they do, they make it look like it's a defamation tactic, right? There's a defamation tactic that start off. They try to make you, the target individual, become like, well, we're investing in this person, and others have said exactly the same thing as me. It's crazy. It's surreal. And it's this defamation tactics that paints you in this negative way. They try to paint you as a pedophile. or some kind of threat to people. It's so far. So for me, what they say is like, oh, you know what we're saying? Because what they hold on to, and I'm going to come up with everything else. What they hold on to, for me, is they talk about me in middle school. When I was in 8th grade, I was 13 years old, 14 years old, right? Just turned 14 maybe. I did something to myself as a kid, right? Which today, when they make me have these nasty manipulations, they say we mapped your brain to you as a kid. Stupidity. It doesn't make like, I'm like, do you even feel? Because the humiliating reality is surreal, it's magical. And imagine when they're like, when they make me think of the stupid thing I did as a child, which they have to exaggerate, like, oh, now you pay via V2K, remember? And it's embarrassing. Because we're gonna get to what they do to children. It's so horrible. It's so horrible. This technology is so horrible. Babies. That's why when they do that in front of me, I have to find myself strength. I have to find strength. Because I know this person who's like, now you pay, is involved in a program that you're gonna hear what they do to children. It can make somebody get loose and become aggressive because you see this person trying to make you think that she's out here protecting and avenging children involved in a program where they torture children. The way you're gonna hear people like her or him, the things that needs to be done to them, I'm not capable of doing, but you're gonna hear what they do. And they think they can make you forget that. It's not gonna happen, it's gonna be really bad. But they talk about me as a kid, a child in middle school. And I bring that picture up, and let me do this. So I like to put that in their face. So when I'm a kid around that age, right, you see these kids, I did something stupid to myself. I bring up some stupid thing I did to myself as a child. This is what a child can do. It's an impulsive moment that I completely forgot about. You know how a kid can do stupid things and then never think about it again? That's what I did. So they're like, no, we talked about what, we said what you did to yourself when you were a kid. Can you imagine? Somebody comes to you. It's like, hey, you see that man over there? When he was in the 8th grade, this is what he did to himself. I'll look at this person and like, what the fuck? In 8th grade? You left in 8th grade. It's like, what's wrong with this? Like, you know something is off. Right now, I have perps like this, which are the contracted people around you, who try to be like, oh, you paid. I'm gonna bring up, remember that. So they say that they were saying what I did when I was in middle school. Can you imagine? And I'm like, you serious? Can you imagine, like, oh, this big investigation for what he did when he was like, you look at it, it's like, you're a clown. Of course this, but I'm sure the defamation was more than that. They were saying things like, no, this dude is doing things to kids and this and that and that. They were creating stories, and also they're like, no, but we talked about what you did to Corny and Brainy. I'm like, what? Wait, so if I did that to this women, okay, if these women are here, you are here investigating, I'm in the same location where these people are right now. Same location. I'm here. Where are they? My number hasn't changed, nothing. If it's a threat, where are the victims? Where are they not showing up? Where? Matter of fact, at one point, because they were trying to use that, they would talk about Brainy. I'm like, what? I start reaching out to her. Hey, Brainy, how's everything? One of these perps, because they create this facade, they really want you to think they are out here protecting women. She ran away because she took the roof exit, sat on the roof. They had to decompress because I destroyed this little retarded facade they had. Because I'm like, hey, Brittany, how's life? You good? Everything good? Yeah, I'm good. That's it. Now, I know that they create defamation of all sorts, all kind of making you a threat. But the truth is, and I don't know what was said, and they tried to be like, no, she was so mad about it. I was like, please, she knew what you guys do? Does she know what you guys do? Because let me tell you, who's these people painting you this way? There's a whole book, about target individual. They utilize date rapes, drugs, big time, all the time, to torture women. Rape is commonly used. There's a whole chapter 12, because I heard somebody say she date rape. They have a whole chapter about how they utilize these GHB drugs, which I have no idea what the hell it is, but apparently it's like Rafil. No, it's some day drug drugs that they will spike in people's drink, in women's drink, who are test subject, target individual, just like me, and they will rape them. And that was so consistently done that these men who wrote about target individual create a chapter about it. The name of the chapter, which is chapter 12, is the name of the drug that's used for date rapes. When they talk about corny, which they're like, no, you didn't. Like, please. Me and Courtney, we had a whole thing, night and week together. Now, if there was something wrong about, it will not come from people who you're going to hear what they do to women. They literally drug them, put drug in their drinks to do things to them. And they utilize this technology, which really don't even need the drugs. This trash, because they create stress for the purpose of continuously be able to control the mind better. This trash do these things to women so continuously, and rape is utilized so much, and I want to make sure that this trash never escape. There's no escapism. Now, rape, like I said, my phone is rape is so used, and you're gonna hear it, that a man, which you're gonna hear say, one of the most breakdown tactic is rape. They sexually torture target individual. They have this tendency to do the things that are gonna break you down. Rape is a breakdown tactic that is one of the most common. And women target individuals, which is what I am. I'm a target individual. Women, born women, not because they want to, they want to demasculate me, as if I care about that. Women are raped so much in this program that it becomes such a common testimonial from target individuals who are women. So this trash that work for these governmental entities not only are trying to paint you as the threat to women, to children, whatever, this danger, and talk about, oh, you rape. They actually are employed in a program where rape is a tool utilized to break down the target individual, men and women, a lot of women. They know that I see them as that. They know that I know what they do to women. So when they vilify you as whatever they try to look for it, please, I'm like, if she only knew who was vilifying me, it'll be a joke. Me, I'm like, where's Brittany? Where's Courtney? I had to seek them. Let's go. I'm talking to people who literally are doing this date rape so much that there's a whole chapters when describing target individual about date rape drugs, because they put drugs, they spike the drinks on top of the technology that can put you in a different place, put you in a trance, and they do things to them sexually in somebody in an actual presence or remotely. As I said, they facilitate evil. Even the rapes can be done remotely, and they've been done They facilitate everything. This is women. So they would try to make me think, it's like, we brought what you did to Courtney and Brittany. I was like, I'm talking to people who torture women and rape women. I wish I would have known what was happening. Because they try to bring all the children. The children is they have to paint so much bullshit stories. They have to create some story and then try to say, oh no, we showed them what you did when you were a kid. I'm like, when I was a child. I'm a whole 7-year-old man. Talk about me in middle school. I'm like, oh, that's like defamation. That's just creating false stories. If that's the case, okay. And I'm not surprised, and I will not be surprised that that's what was being said. They're probably saying that I was molesting children, I was doing things to children, and when they see me, they'll see me at the strip club. But my point is, defamation is utilized before you know what's happening to you as a target individual. There's a defamation. They try to make you look like a threat to children. That this person does things to children, he does this and that. It's a whole campaign of it. To even your own family members. And a lot of it consists of making you look like a threat to children, which is the worst threat. That's what they utilize that. And for me, I'm sure that they could be, they were also utilizing, oh, I remember when he was in middle school, can you imagine something I don't even, it's like, it's falsified. They just try to paint you in these different ways. And they think that I should make sense of it, that no, but you know what you did as a kid, as a child. Imagine somebody comes and say, hey, when this adult, when he was in 8th grade, he did this. When he was 13, 14 years old. Especially what I actually did, as it was inappropriate, but it's some dumb thing as a kid did to himself. They wish I molested a child. They truly wish I molested a child. It becomes their fantasy. No, sorry, I didn't, but I did some inappropriate thing as a kid can do. And yes, I know this trash actually molests children. They work for governmental entities that I brought that up before, but so they present everybody, like they present you as this, they're investigating you, this guy's a threat to children, he's this and that. When in reality, they're the ones. Pedophiles check in every level. The governmental entities that are designing this technology, architecting this design, they have so much issue with pedophilia, right? That in 2019, there was a bill introduced to limit the amount of child porn that was being done only using the Department of Defense network. There was so much issue with child porn. This program tortured children sexually. They are nasty. The abuses they apply onto these babies. Infants, 3-week-old. You're gonna hear. Now, this is who is out here assassinating your character. Try to paint you as a threat. Listen to what they do to women, and then listen to what they do to children, and then listen to what this technology is supposed to be doing. Now,
already being used. I mean, if you talk to the victims, the TIs, one of the worst breakdowns, and it's pretty common. I think I can say the word simulated rape in forced orgasm.
You can say anything you want, this is the internet.
And so simulated orgasms and rape is extremely common, and especially violating for women. They complain about that torture breakdown the most.
So this simulated rapes and torture, they use this technology, which is the future of weaponries. This man describes it here very well.
They got turned over for each vital organ, so go based on what man has contributed, and that's just in the RF, not to mention everything else that we've done. So the human body Couples with external fields of all kinds. For radio frequency, you can look at the Radio Frequency Dosimetry Handbook, 1986, University of Utah, produced for the Air Force. It gives you the resonant frequencies for each vital organ so that you can send in a radio signal that will couple with the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and cause them to malfunction so that you can degrade the performance of your adversary. The new weapon systems being developed today will attack the mind, the body, and our physiology on an energetic level, not with bullets and bombs.
Now with bullets and bones, and this is how they can do these horrible things to us. For example, here, this target individual
today I'm actually dealing with something that's like it's different than the burning the private parts of my body. It feels like somebody is trying to literally like cut the inside of my body, like my vagina, and I'm bleeding, and it's like bright red blood, and it's extremely.
This is a kind of torture that is applied.
So, yesterday I went to the beach and like drank a couple of beers and just sat down there after laying in bed and sobbing for 2 hours because the private parts of my body were being burned and my breasts are moved. And
so they target the private, harm them sexually.
trauma from it. All of that today, this morning, not even noon yet here, and already I'm experiencing the pain and harm to my body, to the private parts of my body. It's just hard to feel hopeful, like just wake up and get out of bed and not know like what a day will bring, and just trying to maintain some level of hope, and just in the midst of such heinous abuse.
This is what they do to women, but there's so many of it. Now, in going back to, he says something, the future of weaponry. Let me just bring it back. He talks about the mind. How do they attack the mind? How is the mind attacked? So he says this.
Radio Frequency Dosimetry Handbook, 1986, University of Utah, produced for the Air Force. It gives you the resonant frequencies for each vital organ so that you can send in a radio signal that will couple with the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and cause them to malfunction so that you can degrade the performance of your adversary. The new weapon systems being developed today will attack the mind, the body, and our physiology on an energetic level, not with bullets and bombs. It's perfect for public.
See, the mind, the body. So this is what they've been working on.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
Let me go to the next one. And Listen to this. This is a story of a woman in the 80s. She was having like this same things. They started this program is an old program in the sense that it's been ongoing for decades, right? Before I was even born, right? And the technology just got better and better and better and better and more refined to do more and more. This is what I was saying about how this technology has been just continuously developed by these entities.
Innocent citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments. Is Cheryl Welch telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove. Maybe, but not if you listen to Nick Beggage.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welch and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is the greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Beggage is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction. The ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behavior of human beings. Going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication, Low-Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems, being able to not just to debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain.
Wow.
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based in Alaska, radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Beggage says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency pollen response, the brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to just be about triggering emotions. You can change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to getting your thoughts and being able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
Can we hear sounds?
So, you understand that the altering, this guy, what kills me is how he just like, just nonchalant said, oh, they've been able to manipulate emotions and reactions and see, like those, this is easy. Like, but now what's been refined, what's becoming more refined is the manipulation of thought process. Perception, like the more, like not just sensations that you have in real time, but just thought process and perceptions, and even memories are manipulated. But memories apparently memories are easier to manipulate than our thoughts. To the point where there's like whole journals, ethic journals about memory manipulation. It's crazy. I've never been this like. I'm not into science in the sense of like I don't look at, like I will not get involved in what technology is capable of doing unless it's really just in the mainstream. But when you just kind of look at what's available in the mainstream, you'll be surprised on how advanced things are. But understanding that this governmental entities that are years, decades and decades and decades ahead of these mainstream things that we have, it's scary. But you clearly say that since after the Korean War, they're working on technology to see how they can alter the mind. But in fact, in the like openly, there's documents that prove that the DARPA was working on this in the 60s.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
In the 60s, these clowns, they use these perps that you see around to try to still make me think this is our money. We were doing this like they want you to not think that. They want you to identify with this manipulation because it's clear that you're being manipulated. But like, no, what we're doing, we're analyzing. They are altering your brain, and then sending these perps who are meant to make you accepting of this manipulation. Because today, these reactions, this sensation, what this man says, they want you to identify to that. Listen, this is the things they do.